China. Its story is one of transformation that has captured the world's attention like a riveting contemporary play. Its rise from an underdog country to an economic and geopolitical powerhouse in mere decades was nothing short of phenomenal. This is a saga of how an impoverished agrarian nation metamorphosed itself into an industrial titan, fundamentally reshaping global geopolitics in the process. But the question remains, at what cost? And is it really that sustainable long-term? The seeds of this remarkable journey were sown with the inception of the People's Republic of China in 1949. Under the indomitable will of Mao Zedong, a nation fragmented and battered by decades of war began to rebuild itself under a socialist economic model with major industries and resources under state ownership. This era marked the beginning of China's first phase of industrialization, guided by the Soviet model of heavy industry development and state planning above human cost. However, the flight didn't take off immediately. The Great Leap Forward from 1958 to 62, while aimed at bolstering industrial output and reducing reliance on agriculture, ended in clear catastrophe. A sharp expansion of low-quality backyard steel production and simultaneous agricultural neglect led to plummeting output and a devastating famine. But this traumatic experience did end up inducing the first flicker of a realization, the need for a different model of industrialization. For the next few decades, the pendulum swung with political currents. From the tumult of the Cultural Revolution to the quiet persistence of initiated economic reforms, the country inched towards a more hybrid economy. It wasn't until the rise of Deng Xiaoping in the late 70s, however, that the course of China's industrialization would take a decisive turn. Deng's era heralded a significant shift from Mao's ideological stronghold to a more pragmatic, economic growth-oriented approach. Initiated under the banner of opening up and reform, the concept of capitalism with Chinese characteristics was set in motion. The stages were set for a unique blend of market economics under the umbrella of a communist regime, steering the ship of Chinese industrialization into uncharted waters. The transformation didn't happen overnight, far from it. It was a carefully orchestrated, gradual process that began with the establishment of special economic zones in coastal cities like Shenzhen and Xiamen in the 80s. Providing tax incentives, easy import-export protocols, and a conducive environment for foreign direct investment, these economic zones acted as testing grounds for Deng's market-friendly policies. These zones, once nondescript fishing villages, metamorphosized into booming urban catalysts for growth. Shenzhen, for instance, soared from a population of 30,000 in 1979 to over 12 million today, flourishing into a technological hub, often compared to Silicon Valley. In facilitating this growth, the role of the Chinese diaspora can't be overlooked, who, lured by the scent of opportunity back home, acted as a bridge for foreign capital and knowledge transfer. As local perception of economic liberalization flourished in coastal cities, the success trickled inland, permeating into more provinces, invigorating a positive domino effect. By the late 90s, China had unfolded its state-led, market-driven economic model onto the global stage, boldly declaring to the world its intentions of becoming an industrial power to reckon with. A mantle it would gradually come to don, albeit temporarily if you ask me. Long admired and feared for its formidable manufacturing prowess, its industrial growth story has revolved around its adaptability and ability to scale. Through this, it became the world's factory. Labor-intensive and low-cost manufacturing formed the foundation of China's industrial framework. Expertise in assembling a myriad of goods, from basic plastic toys to complex electronic devices, combined with a bottomless labor market, propelled China to the epicenter of global supply chains. It wouldn't be incorrect to say that Made in China became a global trademark. Whether it's the phone in your pocket or the decorations that brighten your festive seasons, chances are, at some point, they bear the imprint of China's manufacturing prowess. The wave of industrialization that swept across the country at this time transformed its landscape, both metaphorically and literally, and both for the better and for the worse. Now, this swift ascension wasn't without its warranted critics. Accusations of intellectual property theft, currency manipulation, and unfair trade practices have been thrown into the media spotlight against China's industrial rise, casting long and justified shade over its economic achievements. However, there's no denying that the giant strides they've taken in its industrial journey are worth assessing not just as a spectacle of growth, but as a formidable case study in rapid economic transformation with its cause and effect. With Iran as the world's manufacturing hub that has delivered it phenomenal wealth, it's enabled it to venture towards technological and infrastructural advancements. It wasn't just about producing for the world. It was about producing for China's burgeoning middle class and pockets of the rich upper class. The resultant wave of consumerism spurred internal demand, pushing for advancements in technology and infrastructure, further fueling a country on the go. So let's shift focus to the global impact of the country's meteoric rise. Industrialization certainly had worldwide reverberations, influencing the sphere of global economics across nations. To comprehend the scale and reach of its impact, one needs to delve deeper into the unfortunate sphere of global geopolitics, the grand poker table where nations write their own rules and everybody's cheating for their own power and influence. China's soaring foreign exchange reserves, a testament to its globally disruptive industrialization, did not just elevate it as a significant global economic player, but positioned it as a formidable financial powerhouse. This immense wealth gave Beijing the ammunition to set its eyes on a broader geopolitical horizon, embarking on an ambitious trajectory, one that would redefine the contours of global power structures through subversive expansion. The Belt and Road Initiative, an unprecedented and frankly unrealistic infrastructural investment effort proposed by China under Xi Jinping's stewardship in 2013, is an indicator of their attempt at growing some geopolitical clout, aiming to revive old Silk Road land and sea trade routes. It's Xi's grand plan in binding Asia, Africa, and Europe in an intricate network of trade deals. Critics, however, view it as Beijing's stratagem to establish spheres of influence globally, and has already seen significant cracks develop under the weight of the debt incurred as a result. There's also the Made in China 2025 Strategic Plan, an initiative to comprehensively upgrade Chinese industry and make it dominant in global high-tech manufacturing. It not only thrusts China towards industry-driven, innovation-led growth, but also elevates national security by reducing its dependence on foreign technologies. But on the other hand, this has now led to circumstances in which the country is reliant on exports to survive internally. Now, undeniably, the Sino-American power dynamics have witnessed substantial tremors as a result of China's rise. From trade wars to battles for technological supremacy, from regional disputes to global governance, the relationship between these powerhouses casts a significant shadow on global geopolitics. The ongoing friction gravitates beyond mere economic competition, hinting towards a larger ideological battle, a contestation of models of governance and international order. It's thus evident that the incredible industrialization story has reverberating consequences on the world stage, transforming from an impoverished country to an economic, technological, and infrastructure behemoth. It's significantly reshaped global production, consumption, and power dynamics. But this journey is ongoing, a plot that thickens with every passing moment, and the world watches, bathed in the play's dramatic light, bearing witness to a saga that continues to captivate and in many cases worry in equal measure. The Chronicles of China's rise back to power is a fascinating insight into socio-economic transformations. Yet the story imagined when one looks at today's reality is far from its final scene. The plot is still evolving, playing out on the grand stage of global geopolitics. As for what the future holds, whether the current power dynamics will persist, or will the tables continue to turn, as we have recently seen in its housing crisis, is a tale only time will narrate.